With Tales of the Jedi being featured around a lot of my favorite characters in the franchise, this was going to be an insta-watch for me, regardless of how good or bad it was. But this trailer has so much potential, I really can't wait for it to drop next month so I can dig into it. It starts off with a narration about not fearing life and death from Pav T, Ahsoka's mother, which is directly followed by a great scene of a cute little baby Snips using the Force to calm a large and very angry looking kitty. The narration from her mother makes for a really cool intro to the trailer, but I think it's actually going to play into the story a lot more than we might assume. Maybe as like a message that she recorded for her daughter, with Ahsoka finding it during a time when she actually needs it the most. Times for her certainly do get dark after she left the Jedi Order, and something like this could uplift her spirit in that time of need. A message like this would also be something that would really be looked poorly upon by the Jedi Order, who believe that a Jedi should cut all ties to their families, and it would really enforce what we know will be a major plot point in the Count Dooku portion of the show, that the Jedi Order is just too rigid, or in the words of the great Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, what doesn't bend will eventually break. So initially, I thought that the show was mostly going to take place like pre-episode 1, but I was pleasantly surprised that this is apparently not the case, with some of the scenes even looking like possibly being post-Order 66. We get a great scene with Anakin training Ahsoka in what looks like the very early days of the Clone Wars in an almost brutal way, with clones shooting stun blasts at her from all directions, in a way that sadly seems to mirror the same scenes we later see at the very end of Season 7 in the Clone Wars series during the events of Order 66, when she finds herself surrounded by clones. I'm pretty sure she literally is using some of the same techniques that she used then here in her training session. In the next part, we finally get to see Dooku as a Jedi with a young Qui-Gon Jinn as his Padawan. I'm not totally sure what the planet they are on in the trailer is, or who they're actually facing, but it's quite obvious that Dooku is not handling the situation in a way that would befit a Jedi very well. We know that Dooku had many issues with the tenants of the Jedi Order and the shackles it put on them when they were handling certain situations, and here we see him passing that very lesson down to Qui-Gon Jinn in a brutal way, shoving him back against a wall with the Force. While not on the level of his master, we do know that later in his life, Qui-Gon Jinn would honestly agree with some of the teachings of his old master and become a bit of a rebel within the Jedi Order himself. One small complaint that I had, and I don't know if it's just me, but I felt like the voice acting for Dooku felt just a little bit off. I almost thought that they changed the voice actor from Corey Burton at first, who voiced Dooku and Cad Bane during the Clone Wars, but it's still him, but then it kind of hit me. He sounds a little bit more like Cad Bane to me in this trailer than he actually did Count Dooku. Just weird, not really a big deal. But just something that I did catch on to. We then get what looks like an awesome lightsaber fight with Mace Windu and Dooku together, with even Mace trying to reel his friend back in. God, what a power couple. There is definitely some tension there though. A fight between these two master duelists would be a bit of a stretch. I don't really think that that would happen, but it would be so epic. We then get a very quick shot of what looks to be Ahsoka at Padme's funeral, and her stating that she is tired of fighting, which looks to be all post-Order 66. Later in the trailer, we even see her fighting against an Inquisitor, which confused me a bit at first, but in a huge coincidence that apparently happens in the Ahsoka novel, which I'm actually currently reading. So as per the usual, thanks for the spoilers, internet. Here we see what looks to be a Jedi funeral, with Dooku standing front and center. I'm assuming the earlier quick cut close-up we got of him earlier happens about this time. Could this funeral be for Sifo Dyas, his childhood friend who was incidentally betrayed and killed by Count Dooku himself after ordering the clone army to be created? Could it be Yaddle, who we actually see in this trailer fighting Dooku in an upcoming clip? God, does Dooku kill Yaddle too? That would be nuts. This whole trailer was crazy, to be honest, and I am 100% on board for it. Honestly, I hope that this isn't even the last of the Tales series we get. I think it's a great way to fill in the holes in the story and cover some of the stuff from the EU without really needing to dedicate an entire series to the topic. Anyways guys, that's all I have for you today. If you aren't already, make sure to sub to this channel and force push that like button harder than Daddy Dooku shoves Qui-Gon Jinn. And we will see you in the next one.